Welcome back. So here we are again, picking up where we left off. I'm going to get this firewall sanded on this thing. We're going to get a quarter panel cut out. We're going to see what kind of mysteries are underneath all that mess. So yeah, let's get right into it and get going. So the same as my last video, we're going to just go ahead and get this cleaned up. And we're pretty well roughed out. We might do one more little spot hit on it, but then we can probably throw a block on it. And this firewall should be pretty good. We may have a few little pinholes or something we'll have to deal with, but we're going to go ahead and just keep on using the old grinder on there and knock her down, and we'll see what we end up with. Alrighty, so we're all sanded. We got just a couple little low spots, a little bit high in here. I'll tap that down a little bit. But I'm going to do one more just thin coat over this whole thing, and I'll probably throw a block on it for that. And this over here is kind of a little handwork. We'll get all that detailed in with a small block, but I think we're pretty close on this, or as close as I'm going to get. So yeah, we'll mud it up again, and then we're going to go back and see what we need to do with that quarter panel. Alrighty, so I did a pretty tight smear on this one. It's not real thick or anything, just kind of filling those little imperfections and everything. So we're going to let that dry, and let's go take a look at this quarter. So to get this new quarter panel on here, we're going to have to get in, and there's going to be spot welds all along this inner lip, all the way along, if I can get down here, all along this whole bottom edge. It's spot welded in. This inner panel looks like it's going to be maybe have some issues, but what we need to do is, this panel, as you can see, this body line here is this body line. So I'm going to leave that on the car for now, but I'm going to cut everything out of the way so I can see. So I'll cut like an inch or two down below, get this opened up, and see what we got to do down below here as far as the inner structure and all that stuff goes. But we're going to remove the bulk of the material out of the way so we can kind of see what we need to get to under there, so we can get that stuff prepped, so then we can start fitting this panel. So let's open this bad boy up. Well, let's get this party started. We're going to get all this cut out of here, get the bulk of the metal out with the old grinder. So let's get that out of the way. Not like I gotta cut a whole lot off of here. This is all pretty well done. And the cutting Bondo. Alrighty, that should be done unless there's more Bondo holding it together, but there we go. Anything cool hiding in here? Big mouth. There. So, there is our panel. There's the inside of it. Hold on a sec. So this is what the back side of that looked like. So you can see this is all curled up. That looks like that's where they beat it inward and then packed all this inside full of Bondo. Yeah, here's more. When this is pointing out, it's like somebody rolled it and then just packed it full. So that's what's been lurking under there. Surprisingly, the inner doesn't look bad at all, except right up in this front corner. So that makes me happy. There's something weird going on here, but yeah. So now all we got to do, this is more Bondo, where that rolled under and is spot welded all along here. We'll get all this little thin piece taken off. There's spot welds all along this corner here. We'll get those, and then we'll kind of fit that panel up and kind of just see how it fits. I don't want to trim any of this until we do, and then I'll get this little area addressed before we even start working on that panel. So yeah, let's kind of get some more of this cleaned up. So as I mentioned earlier about packing them with steel wool, I just went to clean up everything that fell out of here. There's some steel wool. This is all steel wool. There's more steel wool. So yeah, somebody definitely did the old school, beat it in, steel wool it, and yeah, there's a big chunk of steel wool. It's naturally all rusted, but yeah, so that was a true, probably mid-80s fix or something, but that's what was done back in the day. So that just kind of gave a backing and something for this Bondo to grip on, I guess, and I don't know. And when it got wet and soaked, I mean, this is real fine wire, so all it did is rust it even faster and created even more of a problem. So again, that wasn't right, but I guess at that time, you know, when the product was saying this is how you can fix things, I guess that's what people did, but that is not how we're doing it. So I'm going to get this cleaned up and get some more of this opened up. So I figured before I get any further into that quarter, I'd come up and get this firewall blocked again. Hopefully that's about, I expect to have a few little flaws in there, but it should be pretty close. So as far as blocks, it's just find something that fits the area. You don't want something that's too long and you're ramming around, but you want as long as you can get to keep it as flat as you can get. So there's all kinds. There's these Dura blocks. There's these other kind of foam ones. Paint sticks, I've used those, and I mean, they work really good. You can fold it over, and yeah, they work pretty well. There's the old-fashioned just wooden block. I've used pieces of like 1/4 inch or 3/8 Lexan and made my own blocks and stuff. So and you can even make a block if you can make a mold out of some Bondo or something and use that for a block if you got a weird body line or something. So basically it's just having something that's flat, that it fits the area you're working, and you're not just ramming into everything and you got room to get the job done. So I don't know where all my block, it's been several years since I've done body work, so, and I've moved, and I don't know where all my blocks are. So this is kind of my limit right now. So I might whip one up if I got the materials to do it, but we'll see how these do. So but yeah, let's see how flat we can make this thing. Alrighty, so we got this pretty well blocked. There's a few little spots, like I said. I figured I'd have just a couple little areas that I'd have to address, but overall it's just about as done as I'm going to make it. So I will just spot hit some of these little guys and just kind of feather them in, and we're going to call it good. Alright, so I got the blocking done. There is a couple little spots that are going to need addressed. I'm just going to put a little smear on those. Overall, I mean, it'll be consistent and everything. I'll knock those down. And when you're blocking, let the paper do the cutting. Don't push on it and try and gouge things out. Just hold it, you know, apply a little bit of pressure, but let the paper cut it and keep your block as flat as you can. If you are pushing and just really trying to work that out, or trying to, you know, you get a little low spot and you just want it to disappear and you start gouging out, you're making it lower, and you just want to make sure that it stays flat. The paper cuts, and it sucks sometimes when you get on Bondo a little too quick. You'll load a piece of paper, and I know it's expensive and you don't want to throw it away, but your gooped up paper or dull paper will create heat, will create warping, and then you're going to get frustrated and push on it harder to make it cut more, and it just is a can of worms. So yeah, if this stuff is real tacky, it's always kind of got a tacky outer skin on it, but you'll know. It's like if it's tacky, and you know, if you can kind of dig your thumbnail or something in it, it's not ready yet, and you'll just load your paper. So it's kind of a fine line between getting it where you can, you know, grade it off real quick and not work too hard, but you'll figure it out once you get going. But anyway, we're going to just just tidy up these little spots here, and I think this thing's about done. Alrighty, so I got my little spots hit, and I know I said to do like, you know, but for just a little bit of some sand scratches and stuff here, this is a real tight smear on here. Most all this is real thin. I did have a few issues over here, so you know, my little area that I'm working is about right here. But I did a big panel here to where most of my cutting, everything will blend in, and then I'll just go through and then when we're all done, we're gonna end up going over this with probably 80 and 120 grit and get most of the sand scratches and everything out. So when we prime it, we got a good grip on it, but and hopefully most of the sand scratches are gone. But yeah, so we'll let this set up, and I'm gonna go work on that quarter panel again. All right, so I got sidetracked and didn't do the quarter. I was actually on the phone, and by the time I was done, this stuff was ready to sand. So pretty much everything on here is good to go. There's a few little details I'm going to do, but you can barely see them. I still have just a tiny little spot there, so I'm just going to do a little quick smear on that. And this thing's pretty much everything's feathered out pretty nice. Yeah, I'll clean out the seams all along here. And I think this is about ready to shoot some primer on. So I'll get this buttoned up, and while that's drying, I will get on the quarter. So here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get all this edge cleaned up and get all this. And I think I'm gonna start off by taking this little cap off. There's about 3 screws in there that'll come off. That'll get out of the way because I gotta get in, get the spot welds in here. And fitting this quarter and everything will be a lot easier. So I can always stick this back on, line it all up, make sure all my stuff's lining up. But for now, that'll be out of the way, and I can get in there and probably take a lot less time getting that off than fighting it. So I'll get that off and get all this bottom edge and everything, get as much of this cleaned up out of here as I can. So I took this corner off, and I went ahead and just kind of set the new panel up on here to see, because sometimes they do little weird notches or something, like maybe, you know, if I cut all this out, then I might have to make something and fill it in where, you know, if you don't test fit, keep your panel around, you know, and just keep checking things, you know, and make references and different things. So, but yeah, the panel actually is a lot longer than this. So I can go ahead and take this whole bottom piece off where I think that's the first spot weld right there. And I can just work my way down and get all that out of the way. So I'm still not going to do anything with this line across here yet until I know where I want my panel and stuff. And then, yeah, I'm hoping to do my seam pretty much right on this seam here, and it'll make everything easier to blend in. So, but for now, I'm going to get all this and that bottom edge cleaned up. All right, so I got that end lip done, and most of this bottom edge is Bondo. So there's not going to be a whole lot to grind off of that. There's a little bit of metal up through here, but yeah, that's even Bondo there. So yeah, I'll get all this knocked out. There's still a little metal there, but so yeah, this is actually going to go easier, and it's still, from the inside, it feels like the lip is still good. So yeah, I'm going to get this opened up. So I got all that ground out. There is actually metal, so yeah, I'll get all those cut off there. So when you're doing this and you're into this kind of Bondo, I don't know if you can tell on my floor or not, but I have a haze of dust all around this thing. It is messy. So cover up Mama's rubber Christmas tree if you're doing this in your garage. You know, any of the old furniture or washer and dryer or whatever you got in there, cover it up, or anything you don't want just layers and layers of rust and Bondo on. Because yeah, this is an absolute mess. So anyway, I'm gonna cut these spot welds out. Well, I got pretty much this whole lip cleaned up all the way to this corner. I think I'm gonna leave that for tomorrow and just kind of keep that in shape so I know what I'm doing. So I'd rather start that before it's all cut up, so I got some references and can just kind of maybe make templates or whatever, just get all this inner part rebuilt. So yeah, I'm gonna stop on this quarter for now. So it's getting late, and I kind of just quick sanded the little spots I have. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm sure once I prime it and block it, I'll find a few sand scratches and maybe a few other little things. But for now, I think this firewall is as good as it's going to get. I'll pull all the brake master and all this stuff off and everything, but I don't really think I'm going to do a whole lot over there. Once I get all that off, I'll look, but you really can't see much. There's really not much going on over there. There's so much other stuff in here that this is probably about all the firewall I'm going to do as far as smoothing. So this voltage regulator is probably going to disappear because I'll be running a one wire. So I'll probably maybe weld in those holes and clean that up. But other than that, this is such a cluster over here, and once you get the inner fenders and all that in, you're not going to see much of it. So but yeah, but that's on another day. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. This I'm going to call good. The quarter we'll finish the quarter tomorrow. So we're definitely making some progress. What a mess. So that's pretty much the end for the day. You can see the cloud of dust that's on this. I mean, this is horrible. I'm completely white in dust and everything. But anyway, we're getting through this. But bodywork's not fun. It's patience and, you know, but just good ventilation, wear a dust mask, all the safety stuff. But you can do it, you know. So we're making progress on this. I hope it's helping you guys kind of see how to kind of get through it in your own shop or whatever. But we're going to get this quarter on, and yeah, then we'll just knock out the other one, and we're kind of done with the major work on this thing. Then it's just a whole bunch of huff and dust and priming and blocking. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.